Hey everybody, I'm here today to talk to you about an easy way to remember the rules for parking on hills during your driving test. And I will be explaining these rules in a way that allows you to understand the logic behind them. And because you will be understanding why we are turning the wheel to the right or to the left, it will be easier for you to remember those rules for your driving test. Now, for all of these examples, we will be acting as if the nearest side of the road is on the right-hand side of the car. So basically, we will be assuming that we are parking on the right-hand side of the road for all of these examples. And I'm just telling you this now so that it's a little bit easier to explain them. So let's get right to it. If you are parking your car on the side of a road without a curb, regardless of whether that road is uphill or downhill, you will turn your steering wheel all the way to the right. And once again, we are assuming that we are parking the car on the right-hand side of the road, so we are turning our steering wheel towards the nearest side of the road, which once again is the right-hand side. Now, I'll explain the logic behind this. Let's imagine that we are parking our car on a road without a curb and it is an uphill slant. Because our wheel has been turned to the right, if the emergency brake and parking brake fail, the car will roll backwards off of the road. On the other hand, if we are parking on a downhill slant and the emergency brake and parking brake fail, the car will roll forwards off of the road because we have turned the steering wheel to the right. If you are parking your car on the side of the road with a curb on a downhill slant, you will turn your steering wheel all the way to the right. And this is because if the parking brake and emergency brake fail, then your car will roll forward to the right and your front tire that is nearest to the curb will end up touching the curb, and the curb will stop the car from rolling any further. So if you are parking your car on the side of the road with a curb on a downhill slant, turn your steering wheel to the right. Because if the parking brake and emergency brake fail, your front tire that is closest to the curb will end up reaching the curb, will roll into the curb, and the curb will prevent it from rolling any further. If you are parking your car on the side of the road with a curb and the road has an uphill slant, you will turn your steering wheel all the way to the left. And I'll explain the logic behind this. If your emergency brake and parking brake fail and your car starts to roll backwards because you are on an uphill slant, your front tire that is closest to the curb will end up rolling into the curb, and the curb will stop your car from rolling any further. So the curb will, in essence, prevent your car from continually rolling once your tire rolls backwards into it. So if you're parking your car on the side of the road with a curb that has an uphill slant, you will turn your steering wheel all the way to the left. And that's basically it. Those are the rules for parking your car on an uphill or downhill slant with or without a curb. And all of the rules basically require turning your steering wheel all the way to one direction or the other. And it's literally that simple. And the easiest way to remember these rules is to understand the logic behind the rules. So to understand the reason that we turn our steering wheel all the way to the right or all the way to the left. And I have done my best to explain the reasoning behind those rules to you throughout this video. And that's all I have for you today. Thanks for watching.